where is he? Where's he gone? She said, he was here 5 minutes ago, still sitting down.
Yep.
Right? I said, well, where's he gone? She said, I can't find him. So I won't run for the purposes.
Yeah,
right?
we won't be keep up.
But I started to go down here. I was calling his name.
Were you motioned?
Sorry?
Were you motioned this way, do you think? Or she actually identified it?
She said that he was last seen around here.
Yep.
But I thought, okay, well, you know, if he was down at the road, you possibly would have seen him.
That's the foster dad of missing Australian toddler William Turrell, and I think he's lying. And it's not just because that story literally did not make any sense. So in today's video, let's watch his Daily Mail interview and count the red flags. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For exclusive videos, early access, and other cool perks, join the channel. Link in description. William Turrell is one of Australia's most famous missing children, but even if you're familiar with his disappearance, you might not know what I think about it. So before we grab our deception decks and start analyzing this interview, here's a quick recap of the case and my opinion of it from my first video in this series.
William Turrell would have turned 4 by now. But his life is frozen in time. Because 12 months ago, this gorgeous little boy vanished while on a family holiday to Nana's house in the country.
William was stolen. He was abducted, he was kidnapped, he was stolen. Whatever word you want to use, somebody decided to take him.
Uh-oh, that's not good. There are 4 things that hoaxers all have in common from my observation. And the first thing is conclusiveness despite the evidence. So when a parent of a missing child says, my kid was 100% abducted by someone, a stranger took my kid, and there's no evidence of it, that is a red flag. So if we don't see some sort of ransom note or kidnapping letter or proof that someone was in their house, right, like a broken window and muddy footprints on the floor of William's bedroom, they are being far too conclusive for the evidence that we have. So we're off to a very rocky start. We have them hiding their faces, which defeats half the purpose of appearing on TV. Now I'm wondering if they're only appearing on TV to push their narrative that William was kidnapped, to point the eyes off of them. So that's the rundown. William disappeared from his foster parents' relative's house in 2014 during, suspiciously, an unplanned impromptu road trip. And then when the foster parents went on TV to talk about it, they didn't just hide their names and their faces, they insisted he had been kidnapped despite the evidence. In other words, my first impression of them, that they're hoaxing and lying about what happened, is something I still stand by. And nothing they said in that interview or any of the other interviews of theirs I've analyzed have changed my mind about that. I'll put my William Turrell playlist on the end card if you want the full breakdown. For now, let's listen to this Daily Mail interview.
Said to well, where is he? Where's he gone? She said, he was here 5 minutes ago, still sitting down.
Yep.
Right? I said, well, where's he gone? She said, I can't find him. So I won't run for the purposes.
Yeah,
right?
we won't be keep up.
But I started to go down here. I was calling his name.
Were you motioned?
Sorry?
Were you motioned this way, do you think? Or she actually identified it?
She said that he was last seen around here.
Yep.
But I thought, okay, well, you know, if he was down at the road, you possibly would have seen him.
So
he's in his bright clothes.
Just for the video.
Yep.
Just can you say your own name? Just how loudly you said that?
In my own name.
You just so we can have an example.
William, come on, William. Where are you, William?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's
as I said in the intro, that story doesn't make any sense, no matter which way you look at it. And that's because the dad apparently wasn't around when William disappeared. So picture the scene. He shows up, he asks his wife where William is, she says he's been missing for 5 minutes, and then he immediately runs around and starts yelling for William. Now, if the wife already knew this might be an emergency and William might be lost, why was she sitting around waiting for her husband to come home? Why wasn't she out there yelling for William as well? And if she wasn't aware that William was missing and only realized because the husband came home and said, hey, where's William? Why would she have responded, I can't find him anywhere? That implies she's already looked for him and can't find him. As I've already acknowledged, I'm biased against this couple because I've already analyzed their other interviews and I think they're liars. I also analyzed a recent update about the foster mother in my last video in this series, where she basically got away with child abuse. So while this might just be an innocent slip-up and he just didn't relay the conversation they actually had correctly to the camera crew, I think his story didn't make sense because he made it all up. But this is not even close to the only flaw in his story, so let's keep listening.
Come on, William. Where are you? William.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that's
So-
continuing all the way down here.
Yeah, I didn't go down here initially.
Okay.
Because I could see that area, but I thought that if he's gone somewhere, I continued to traverse across, and I was following every area. I was looking because I knew what he was in. Okay, so I continued to follow down.
And that's the Spider-Man suit?
Yeah. But I would have walked. I think I came over here. I did 90 minutes in this area.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm not going to take you through the 90 minutes,
Yeah.
but I went down and, I've been in Cubs, Scouts, Venturers. I've been out bush on motorbike trips and all that sort of stuff. I'm pretty savvy in that regard. I would go to a section where I'd know that, okay, well, there's fencing there that he wouldn't get through.
Yeah.
Right, which would drive him down a specific direction. So I then, went out towards the street. Couldn't see anything there, but trying to uncover things as I went. Then
So you've checked that dollhouse over there?
yeah, absolutely. Went through there, went underneath their house, went around their house, went in there, because they weren't home.
Yeah.
I went in their carport. They've got a caravan in there that's all locked away. I went in there, I checked under
And that was locked?
Caravan was locked, yeah, absolutely.
So you're being fairly systematic, is that?
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it?
Yep. And I was looking at everything I possibly could. I then couldn't find him. I then found there's a walking trail or a trail that leads to the cemetery. I followed that. I was still looking for things on the ground. If there's something, he might have lost a shoe or something
And
like that.
you were yelling all this time? All
this time, yeah.
Did the yelling increase in
Yes.
being louder and louder?
Excuse me. Sorry.
That's all right.
Whoops.
As I often say on the channel, hoaxing is hard, and that's because you have to imagine a situation that you're not actually in. So hoaxers often forget to include emotions in their story, and I think that's what the journalist was picking up on when he said that this was all very systematic. Remember, if this story is true, one of his foster children has disappeared. But beyond the lack of emotion in the story, the facts just don't line up. For instance, he said he knew what to look for because he knew what William was wearing. And apparently on that day, William was wearing a Spider-Man outfit, and I guess the logic was he would be easy to spot because he was wearing bright colors. But as far as we know, he was never told that William changed into that outfit. Remember, he was away, he came home, finds out William is missing, and then goes on a rampage looking for him. When was he told what William was wearing? William either slept in that outfit the night before and they routinely don't change him because they're negligent foster parents, so he knew that's what he was wearing that morning, or he didn't know and just made that up later to explain why he didn't search down that hill. Either way, the bigger problem is the outfit itself, and that's because this photo of William, supposedly from the day he went missing, shows him wearing it without any shoes. So what shoes exactly was he looking for on the trail? Either he didn't know what William was wearing, or he did know, yet was for some reason still looking for shoes. Again, like I said, lying is hard, especially for people with low IQs. All right, let's keep watching.
So at what point do you cross over back to Benaroon?
I can't remember exactly because I came back up. So I got down to this point where, you had no choice but to come back across. I ran back up here. I could see had kind of, again, come down this sort of way. She's calling out for him. She's looking down that side. I can see that she's distressed as well.
Did you notice anyone else around?
Not straight away. Not straight away. They're away. I didn't even look up there. There didn't seem to be anyone else coming out around this area, coming out of the house or anything like that.
Is there any particular reason why you focus on this corner? Or it just seemed logical to you?
It just seemed logical. That was the last place she saw him. He's got asthma. He wouldn't probably spend his time going uphill.
Yep.
It would just be too hard for him. And that was the last place that she saw him in around, just on that grassed area. And she said, he was just here. So I said, okay, well, if he's just here, and the, I guess he's a little bit like water. It's the least a path of least resistance that he'd go down. Look, I mean, he was, he's up to here on me. He's tiny, but he's wearing his blue and red Spider-Man outfit, he would have been easier for me to see, and I can cover quite a bit of ground.
So if you put your hand, that's his
Yeah,
height to you?
I can put my hand on his head.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
not straight, but just it's slightly
bent, yeah.
bent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So I then went off in this direction, went off in that direction. I then came out. I would have been on the road. I said, "Have you seen him?" You know, because I was.
are we seeing anyone by this stage? Or?
Yeah, had gone down to some of the neighbours across this sort of area because they had started to come out because they could hear me calling.
When people are telling a true story about something that happened in the past, we can expect them to speak in past tense and use the first person singular because they're talking about what they saw and what they did. Meanwhile, liars typically switch back and forth between a couple different tenses, like past tense and present tense, because they're making up the present parts in the moment. Or they switch to the conditional, like I would have been over there, which isn't necessarily a lie because they're not telling you that's what they did. They're just saying, well, yeah, I could have done that. But I don't want to rehash those particular rules of statement analysis too much because I've covered them in some of my most popular videos on the channel. Instead, I want to zero in on another word he's using a lot, and that's the word started. I've put the card from my deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation, on your screen if you want to read the full thing. But the gist is, if someone says something started, they're not necessarily saying that's what happened. They're just telling you that an action began. I started going down the hill isn't the same as saying I went down the hill. So every time William's foster dad says he started to search somewhere or started to do something, we can't assume that action actually came to fruition. Instead, he might simply be trying to imply that he did all those things because he wants us to believe he didn't know where William was. So the more he searched, the more we'll believe he had no idea what happened. Again, if you want my full theory about what happened to William Turrell, you can watch my other videos. I'll link them on the end card. For now, I want to show you one last clip from this interview because it's the thing that bothered me the most about it. See if you can spot it.
Because they had started to come out because they could hear me calling. I then started to go, okay, well, he's got to be somewhere else. So I then went...
Would it be fair to say, would you have noticed other people? Or were you just solely looking for the red and white, the red and blue?
No, I was looking for him, but I then started because calling out, yelling out, it's just starting to go up and down the street. People were coming out.
So who was the first person, other than a family member or a friend, that you saw? Where was their location?
There was a lady talking to over there. I don't know her name. Knows her. But then I started to go into other people's houses. I was backtracking. I was looking under the houses. I was jumping fences. I was looking for where there were pools.
Did you speak to anyone? Did you say anyone? Do you see anyone that says, "Where's Will"? You know what I mean?
Yes. I did come across people. I couldn't be exactly sure who they were.
Do you remember where the first one was? I know it's hard to remember.
I came across no one there. Until a search later on.
Do you want to move down a bit so it might help your memory?
Yeah, sure. It possibly, I can't recall whether it was even this person in this house here.
So obviously we're skipping the actual route that you told.
Yeah. I don't think you would have been able to catch up with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw that. So even this.
As you might know, I put zero stock into body language analysis as far as deception goes because people lie with their words. They express themselves with their bodies. But there is one exception, and it's the subject of my most popular YouTube short. And that's duper's delight, or the endorphin rush that liars get when they're telling a lie and getting away with it. Remember the context of this interview. This is a foster father who lost one of the kids who had been entrusted to him. He should be devastated, ashamed, apologetic, curious, begging any kidnappers who might have the kid to come forward, asking the public for help, and talking about William in a way that might endear him enough to the people listening that they get up off their couches and actually go help look for him. But I don't see any of that here. I see him talking about William as if he were an animal being hunted. I see him walking up and down that hill with a swagger, joking about how the journalist and even little William wouldn't be able to keep up with him. So is this duper's delight? Is he lying to the journalist and the police and the public and feeling giddy because he's getting away with it and he's outsmarting everybody? Possibly. I need to see more to be sure. But as far as his wife goes, I'm convinced she was displaying duper's delight in her interview. Check out that video. I'll link it on the end card. If you want me to continue analyzing this case, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.